Give me a thumbs up. We're live. We're live.
We're live?
We're live, baby. Welcome to Beyond the Box. I'm Abby Alonzo, Anthony Ranaudo, and this one's going to be special. Why? Because y'all heard Austin Payne last Friday talk at Modesto. Are we not live? We're not live. That was a practice round.
Psych.
Just kidding.
That's good because it was
good practice. Yeah, I know, right?
This thing is still loud as shit.
Should I ask if it turns down again?
No, that's all right. We'll just scream.
Yeah, I felt like I was screaming.
You were.
A little more? A little more? Oh, he can't. Please. That'd be awesome. I'm going to lose my voice if not. Somebody else should sit on.
Who hit a bomb?
Jake Brown. Oh. Are we good to go? Give me a thumbs up if we're good to go for real this time. We tried this once. We're going to try it again. Welcome to Beyond the Box. I'm Abby Alonzo, Anthony Ranaudo. As I was saying before I realized we weren't live yet, Austin Payne was on the show last Friday at Modesto, and we asked him a couple questions about who he liked catching him. And one of the names he brought up was Mr. Micah Gibbs. So guess who we had to get in Don Juan
We went and got
sit
him.
in? Yeah.
We went and got him.
Immediately after the show, we're like, Micah, can you come hang out? And he said yes. So he's here. I'm really excited for this one because these two were roommates in college. You
Buddies.
caught
That
for
we
it.
were.
Buddies. Yeah, I'm
buddies.
sure
Yep.
y'all have got some stories I can only imagine. Can you actually talk about how y'all's initial meetup, how y'all became friends?
Well, I don't know about becoming friends. When we first met, I think he was probably a little more worried. When I walked in with, you're more worried. When I walked in with Cody Wren to move in with sleeveless shirts on.
I was like, oh, what is going on right now?
Not the sleeveless shirts.
just two big country boys walking in.
Country boys. I was like, oh boy, we're in the South now.
From New Jersey, that had to be a culture shock a little bit.
It was great.
Did y'all pick each other as roommates, or y'all just got put together?
No, so that was actually Terry Rooney,
Rooney.
who's now back at LSU.
He's a veteran of the show, or is that the right term? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came on the second episode, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Lives down the street from me.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh,
Never
that's
see
cool.
him right now.
Never.
He probably has a Murphy bat at the box.
Yeah, definitely.
Just
And he's
sleeps
on
there.
and he's probably on the road. He told us he was on the road for like 14 days or something.
Oh,
when he
for
came
sure.
on our show. It was
Yep.
crazy, yeah.
He pulled up. He actually pulled. You're good. You can walk across. Yeah. He actually pulled up in a golf cart, straight from Alex Box. Rode over to Modesto.
Oh, wow.
In a golf cart.
Yeah, it makes
all
sense.
purple.
Yeah.
Literally all purple out.
Yep.
It was great. It was so
was
Terry
awesome.
Rooney.
He's the best.
Yeah.
So we are at Don Juan. You guys know we go live after the midweeks here. And actually, LSU, I don't know how much longer they'll be playing because last I checked it was 22-2. LSU was beating Grambling State. Got to see a lot of faces we haven't seen much of this season. Jake Brown just hit a bomb. We saw a little bit of Kucherak, right? He was in a whole bunch
What's
of
up,
guys
everybody in the chat? We got Carl Dunn.
What did
and
I tell you?
See?
Y'all
Carl
know we
said
call
hello.
him
There he
Chat
is.
King, right?
I'm trying to be
In the
nice to your
middle of a
mom.
sentence. Boom.
I'm trying to be nice to your mom. Your
Thank
mom
you,
was in
Mom.
there.
I appreciate that. Thanks for
Mrs.
showing her some
Alonzo's
love.
in the chat. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's my
Chat
thing.
King.
It's my thing. It's my
It
thing.
is his thing. But Adam so kindly sent me this stat that I want to read before we get going about this game. Like I said, 22-2. Grambling got
A
on
lot
the
of
board.
twos.
So LSU's 13th spot in the fourth inning was its most runs in a single frame since scoring 14 versus ULM in 2000 in an NCAA regional. So,
Wow.
yeah, nice
good.
there's a little nugget of information for you.
good.
Not too much to talk about other than they definitely need a confidence boost going into this weekend. Y'all are laughing. My interns are telling me to fix my hair, so that's where we're at on a Tuesday. It is.
It
what
looks
it
good.
is.
Don't worry.
It
It
is-
looks good.
Hey, it's
is
important.
what it
It's
is.
important.
24-2, Carl said.
Oh my gosh.
24-2.
Yeah.
I think it's 15 after 5. We were talking about 15 after
I hope
5,
so
10
for
after
Grambling
7.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We're
For the
hoping
sake
so.
of Grambling. Have you been keeping up with the team this season?
Here and there, I've watched more than I have the past couple of years. It's tough having a couple kids at home, so I usually leave it on in the background and watch when I can. But yeah, it's been a fun year to watch.
I was gonna say, so you've seen enough to know where we're at. You've
yep.
got 3 more series. Texas A&M, number 1, coming in to
Yep.
the box this weekend. Then you face, Bama and Ole Miss, right?
Yep.
Fighting for a spot in Hoover.
Yep.
How do you move forward? How do you end up in Hoover?
So obviously, I mean, as simple as it can be, win games. But how do you do that? I think, honestly, I really like the team. I think that there's a lot of new guys. And what we always talked about when I was coaching here was a lot of the time chemistry came from a lot of the older guys.
Right.
And you really need older veteran players. And we have a lot of players we're counting on that are very young, playing their first SEC games against probably the hardest competition that we were going to face in conference all at the beginning.
Right, yeah.
So I think for them, it's like we're at the point where it's get into the tournament, get into the NCAA tournament, and then I don't know anybody in the country that wants to see them walk in as a 2 or a 3 seed.
Hell no.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no chance.
Yeah.
Because I think they have very good pitching. The hitting, I think, is coming along, and those younger guys are getting better and better. And then the other thing with getting into the postseason is you go to the guys you count on the mound, and a lot of those, a lot of the stats you see in the stat book are going to be kind of washed out by getting to go to the guys that you're going to count on a lot more often.
So
26-2. Sorry. Carl's giving me updates in the chat. You know I'm in the chat.
I know you're in the chat.
You
You're
remember
watching.
my Aunt Patricia, too? I don't know if you
I
remember,
do.
but she
Oh,
was
yeah.
one of my aunts, yeah. She
Wait.
did write something in here, so I think
She
she's in here,
deleted
but
the
then she
message.
deleted it. Yeah.
What did you delete?
She just wanted to say hello, and she said hi to Micah. So,
Oh, well,
yeah,
hello, Aunt
that's it,
Patricia.
yeah.
How you doing?
We heard Micah's a fan favorite of
Oh,
the
he's
Ranaudo
a Ranaudo
family.
fan favorite.
There we go.
One of my aunts used to ask me about you. Aunt Soupy would, literally, 10 years into pro ball, she'd be like, so how's Micah? And I'm like, I'm sure he's great. I hadn't talked to him in a couple weeks, but I'm sure he's great. Yeah. I was like, she's like, I just really love him. I'm like, yeah, I know, Aunt Soupy. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
you made a good impression with my family.
yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh,
Appreciate
somebody's
that.
asking what you're drinking.
This would be Macallan 12 Sherry Oak.
Macallan 12.
Delicious.
I've actually had that. It is pretty good.
Yep.
What's the difference of Scotch and whiskey and bourbon? Is that a dumb
It's
question?
just the way it's made.
Okay.
I think a lot of people think of Scotch as like that, like tastes like a fire in your mouth or like a burning wood table that you're chewing on. But it just depends on what that's like the peatier versions. So you can get there's ranges of all of them. Usually bourbon's a little sweeter, a little easier to drink.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just depends on
Makes
what you
sense.
like.
Yeah.
Okay, so when Bane was on the show, we were kind of talking about the SEC tournament and how I think you brought up that Maneri was just kind of like not necessarily, I guess nonchalant about it, kind of a little bit. Do you remember any, do you have any moments from SEC tournaments, good or bad, that you remember right off the top of your head?
Micah was 3 for 3 with me
yeah.
too. He only knows.
I was going to say, there's all good. That was like my favorite place on earth.
Yeah, it was the best.
I think we lost one game in 3
Yeah,
years.
seriously. I told her, I was like, we don't know a sad bus ride home.
I think it was,
was
it the first?
Flex.
No, it wasn't because in 08 we had the streak.
Yeah.
So it was 09, the first game, Mike Minor.
That's right.
1-0
He
shutout.
Yep, that's right. Yep,
Vanderbilt.
Yep. Complete game. Yep.
But won every other game. Other than
Yeah.
that.
We never lost another game.
It was.
I think we might. No, we didn't. Yeah, I was gonna say our
we
junior
swept
year.
08,
Yeah.
and the junior year swept it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the way Coach handled it was just like the whole season, where it's like all that mattered was whatever game was in front of you. You didn't look past it. You didn't look in front or behind. And I think that was also the reason why, after we won in Omaha in 09, it was like, wait, what's next?
Yeah.
Because you always felt like it was like a ladder. There's one more step, and then there's no more steps.
Yeah,
And
there
you're
was
like,
no-
what
yeah.
now? What do we do?
It was just real
Where to
happy.
put my hands?
I don't know what to do with my hands.
I'm going to be real controversial. Who was your favorite pitcher to catch?
Wow.
It doesn't have to be him.
Wow. Why would
Favorite
you assume that it was me?
Well, I don't want him to feel
This dude
pressured
caught
that he
some
has
really-
to say your name because he's on
And
your
you
show.
weren't even specific.
wait,
You weren't
yeah.
LSU, because he caught for Team USA after our freshman year,
Okay.
where he had 18
Ever?
big
Yeah.
leaguers on that team, and there was only 12 guys on the
Okay,
team.
so LSU,
At LSU.
and then ever.
Favorite how? I think we had the best chemistry of all the pitchers.
Are you bullshitting?
But his stuff, fastball is great. His curveball was so good though. Remember, there's a game against Auburn in 09 or 10 where we got mixed up. I think because it was dark and there were shadows. And he threw a fastball, and I thought it was a curveball, and I went to block it, and I thought I broke my thumb. It hit me right in the thumb. So, his stuff was nasty. So, it was fun to catch because there's very rarely people on base. But I would say, Nolan was funny to catch because Nolan didn't know what he was doing most of the time. He'd throw like cut change-ups on accident,
yeah.
and it was disgusting.
They were really nice,
and he would look
too.
at me and just kind of like shrug.
Like, sorry, pal. I know we were supposed to go this way, but it went that way.
Like, Austin Ross was kind of fun because, like, everything was exactly right where you wanted it to be for the most part. Those are always easy as a catcher, but sometimes it's a lot more fun when you got the guy that just strikes everybody out.
Yeah.
Because it's just overpowering and fun, but
I'd imagine Lewis Coleman was probably fun. And did you catch the last out in 09 too?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's pretty memorable too. Yeah.
So the other thing is, I don't know if you remember the hitter's eye we used to have.
Yeah.
So Lewis Coleman during the day.
Oh, that's right.
Would come out of the Tiger Stadium windows.
Yeah,
the stadium
so it probably wasn't fun.
So like on his fastball, I wouldn't see it until halfway there.
Wait,
so
what do you mean?
The ball just didn't exist for about 30 feet.
Oh my
Like he was
God.
picking up the
No,
last 30 feet.
So like I would actually like set back a little deeper, and then I was basically on like defensive mode. I was just trying to catch it. Like I wasn't actually trying to like frame it or present
Your
it.
reaction time had to be really.
Way better than it is now. we saw that today, I think.
Yeah, well, my first 4 throws were not that great either. So.
I would have caught those 15 years ago.
15, yeah. That's not.
I know,
yeah,
it hurts
that's,
to say.
That's aggressive. Think about that. 15 years ago. That's wild. No. All right. Next question.
Next.
Was there ever a time that, like, I think I asked you this as a pitcher that you got frustrated with the catcher, but was there ever a time as a catcher that you got frustrated with the pitcher? Like, visibly?
I don't know that I ever got frustrated with a pitcher, other than if they like were definitely missing, like didn't know the signs. So if like we had a pretty elaborate sign system our freshman year, for sure. Felt like we were like sending a spaceship off for NASA or something.
You and I used that our junior year.
Yeah,
remember?
we did.
Yeah.
And then we'd have like, especially you get like a game like today where it's like 26-2 and like somebody's coming in to pitch that hasn't pitched in months.
Yeah.
And you can just tell like they don't know what the signs are. And I'm like,
They literally don't know.
and it was a system was like kind of hard to explain.
Yeah.
So like when
It
when
was
that
a
would
lot of
so
thinking
like
too.
there's nothing worse as a catcher than getting crossed up where you're thinking it's one pitch and then something else comes, especially at that level where guys are throwing hard, they've got good stuff. Because you're also trying to help the umpire and like not get him hurt too.
Yeah.
But when that would happen, that would be pretty aggravating. But it's usually because it's like it's guys that like stopped paying attention months ago because they didn't pitch.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're.
Or tell her this story. So I don't know exactly what was said, but so we've told the Chad Jones story. Coach Maneri told the story, and then I told a version of it.
It's like telephone now.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me what it was like when you had to go out there and when he had the runner on second base. And I don't even remember what he said, but I remember you telling me and just me belly laughing because I'm like that's just Chad because he didn't. I forget you. I think you said something about like the signs and the sequencing or something. But
Yeah. So like for him, because I mean I don't even think we talked about signs.
that's what I mean. I don't think
because it was like he threw that one like live AB to wet the lat. Like the Wednesday before, they're like, oh hey, here's bases loaded against Auburn.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, it's also Trent Mummy and like they're
they're big like
Hunter Morris, who was an SEC Player of the Year
and
that
another
year.
kid too. Yeah.
Yeah, they were Brian Fletcher.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you go out there and you got this huge situation. I mean, there's so many other favorite parts of the story, but like the Lil Wayne part that they didn't stop playing because he was pitching and it was a longer thing and some words came out. That was great.
What? Okay,
Oh, yeah.
explain. Back up. I wasn't there. Explain. What happened with that?
So
Abby was 10 years old probably.
All right, dude.
So when you're a hitter, you get like a 30-second clip of a song that plays every time you come up to bat.
Right, I know what a walk.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I'm overly detailed.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
But a pitcher gets a minute.
child
A pitcher gets like a minute to a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Well, it was a struggle for Bill Franquez to get Chad Jones to find a song that didn't have expletives.
Yeah.
And he finally got one for like a 30-second clip of like Lil Wayne. And he comes out to pitch, so they just play his song. Well, it goes past that 30 seconds, and then all of a sudden, like, beat drops, and he just goes off. And, like, I remember looking, because I knew Hunter from the summer before, and I, like, look over there at him, and he's like, what the hell's going on here? Because, not to mention, you have this guy coming in with 0 innings on the year.
Yeah,
that was that was the strong safety for the football team.
Like
Dreads,
some
traps from, like, shoulder to, his traps are huge.
are coming out of his uniform.
Oh, yeah. And so, like, I run out there, and I'm like, hey, Chad, like, there's a runner on second. Like, what do you want to do? And he goes, yeah, first sign. And I'm like, usually they pick up on that one pretty quick. So I'm like, man, like I'm hoping he's in here. Like lefty's up, lefty on deck, 2 hitters. Like they can't get it relayed in time. Like, all right, let's do it. And that was the best part because like he comes in there and it's just like 93 on the black, crazy sliders. I'm like, who is this
But do you remember
guy?
that like you would do like you would go 1 and then do all the numbers and he would just start coming set
Yeah.
like while you're still giving the numbers.
Yeah.
It was so obvious that it was the first
So
sign. So
what was funny about it was like the first hitter the first hitter he actually gives up that squeaker little thing down the line.
Yep.
And then the next lefty comes up and I'm like still trying to give signs, but I'm trying to give him like this, here it is, and then go fast before he starts coming set.
Yeah.
But then he like strikes Hunter out on like 3 pitches.
Yeah, it
Were
was unbelievable.
disgusting, and I'm like, I think we're good.
Yeah.
So then I just give one sign from
Just
there
one
on
sign.
out. Yeah, I was
That's
like, here we go,
I
here it
remember
is.
Micah telling me, he's like, I just get one sign.
Yeah, I was like, all right, here you
Like,
go.
It doesn't even matter. Let them know what was coming. Yeah.
No, yeah.
I think everybody was just so mindfucked that it was just like, we didn't
Yeah,
know what
like
was going
I wouldn't
on.
have been, like I'm pretty sure there was a time where like I wouldn't have been shocked if he would have just been like did it like the thing with the gloves,
told
like,
him,
hey,
yeah,
here's
exactly.
what's coming.
Remember when he did the 2 outs too?
Wait,
He did
no.
the outfielders? Yeah. He struck the one guy out and just goes 2 outs like he's an outfielder still. Like, it was unbelievable, yeah.
That
was-
story is still
he
so
was the
wild
best.
to me
Oh.
how that happened. Maneri told us on the first episode.
We got to get Chad here to, like, hear his side.
I want to
Chad-
hear his
there's some
perspective.
great Chad
Oh,
stories.
dude, yeah. He would definitely tell,
Yes.
too. Chad's he's the man.
I can
he's the
only
best.
imagine that.
Oh,
All right, we
man.
got to look at the chat real quick. You
My
got some-
mom's in here. She made it.
Yeah, where's the chat king?
Yeah, my mom said, hi, Anthony. Say hello to Micah. Love hearing you guys together. Such good times.
Tell her I said hello. That's awesome.
I think she can hear you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Did you
Go, good
see
point.
Aunt Patricia's comment?
Yeah, and Patricia commented back, yeah.
Wait, so I think she can hear you.
So-
Yeah, Mike, you have a mic. They can hear you. So you saw her comment too?
Yeah. 50 likes and you'll run a 40?
I already ran a 40. If you want to see me run a 40, go look at the Chris Hilton
We got
interview.
some work to do. There's only 2 likes
right,
right now,
bro.
so we need to get some more likes going.
I'm not trying to
Does
run
that mean
another
be
40.
5 or was that supposed to be 50?
I think it was 50.
Yeah, let's get 50. I like it.
I'll
Let's shoot
tell
for
you
the
what,
moon.
if we get 50 likes, I will run another 40 outside of Don Juan, and we'll record
Outside of Don Juan. Wow, there we go.
it in my J's.
You guys
but
heard it here.
That won't be good. Okay, so we love to talk about Maneri. I like asking about Maneri
Yep.
because I feel like, first off, he can talk. He told us, like, the first episode, I mean, he had story after story, and it amazes me how much he remembers.
Oh,
like,
he's
the
a
details.
he's an
Not
iron
scared to talk,
trap.
yeah.
Like his mind, the things he remembers, like pitch by pitch from our
Years
freshman
ago.
year and stuff. And I'm like,
Unbelievable.
wait, we even played that team? I don't even remember that
Yeah.
part.
I mean, we
Oh,
were
he's
asking
incredible.
him specific, like, games and
Well, and
situations.
think about how many games that he had to manage over like his career. It's
crazy.
It
It's
was
unreal.
wild. But I like asking y'all about Maneri just to kind of see your perspective. He does the what's it called? The impersonation,
Oh, yeah.
the voice.
I think everybody does pretty
I
much.
know.
Oh,
You were
yeah.
trying to get him to do it. That's what you're trying to do.
Well, no.
I don't
just
think my vocal range works well
Micah's
there.
voice is too deep.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying that I
But
like
no.
hearing that part.
I mean, usually it was more of like our relationship was he was like a father figure, but that was for everybody. But I think his main job in life was to get me to like have energy, and because I'm a very like even keel, but his thing was just always to like fire me up, and he did a very good job of that at the right times.
How did he manage to do that?
Wait, sorry.
Like, what was his tactic? How did he manage to fire
He
you
called
up?
me words that I'm not going to
Okay.
say on live YouTube.
Okay.
But the thing that I think he did really well is he knew what guys he needed to do that to, and he knew what guys he needed to put his arm around and talk
Yeah.
to, and like because I'd see him out there in the field, say like Tuesday, Wednesday practice with somebody, and just like walking with him in the outfield and talking to him, and he's like he knew he didn't need to do that to me. He just needed to come over and like basically just kick me in the ass, for lack of a better phrase. But no, he like went to his Hall of Fame induction. Like he's like another father to me.
He's the
That's
best.
for sure.
I told them the story about our freshman year when we went over there for Thanksgiving too. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
We went and picked up some dessert, and I was like speeding down Highland because we were going to be late. And
Yeah.
everything. There was no one on campus, but I was going like 80 down the Highland, like trying to get to his
Oh
house.
yeah. Every year he always would find out like what guys were from out of town,
Yeah.
who was not going
Not going,
back,
yeah.
and like get him to come to his house. No, he's the best.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. I know we've heard that across the board from everybody,
Yeah.
how Maneri is like the father figure to all of y'all. So that's really cool to continue to hear. And we've talked to, Ronnie Rance and Pete Bush about Skip. We heard some stories about Skip, too. So
Yes.
Skip. I love the things that come out about the coaches afterwards. Like, and the coaches try to deny him, but it's
Even
real.
the other day, Skip did I guess an inning of color for the LSU game. You remember?
Wow. Oh yeah, when he joined them.
He's
or
a
whatever.
character.
Yeah.
He's
Oh, yeah.
something.
He's
And
the
you got to
best,
do the alum lunch with him,
I
huh?
did, yeah. I felt bad for him that day. He wasn't himself because I think he had fell the day before or something like that and kind of hurt himself. But
He's one of those
still,
guys that when his mouth opens, you just listen.
Yeah, exactly. It was
Like
like
the
I
stuff
barely
that comes-
spoke. I just had the mic down.
yeah.
There. It was just like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna let Skip talk. Yeah,
Yep.
that's way better. Yeah.
Yep.
He was the AD our freshman year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was. I remember I went on my visit. And they
That's-
took me the administration building all
Yep.
the way up to the top and
Yep.
sat and skipped. And I mean, I was the guy because I'm obviously a nerd, and the whole I would say from probably 4th or 5th grade all the way through high school, I kept score of like almost every College World Series game, like in a scorebook.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, I watched every LSU national championship, the whole thing.
love
So for
that,
me,
yeah.
it was like seeing Skip. I'm like,
Yeah. You're like,
wait, he's real?
yeah.
Like holy cow!
Yeah.
Like this is him.
Yeah.
So it was like, I basically told Rooney the next morning at like, Embassy Suites, like after the day, I'm like the next morning, and I'm like, just tell me where to sign.
Yeah,
Like,
just,
I'm
coming.
yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. I was always again jealous because in New Jersey, college baseball wasn't huge. It was, you had Rutgers and
Yeah.
Seton Hall, maybe, so it was like, yeah, I want to play for the Yankees. That sounds a lot better, But
Yep.
down here, you guys have those options. You obviously have the major league teams too.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think it actually is in a way the opposite because we don't have anybody in Louisiana. Like
That's
we don't
true,
have.
yeah.
You have to go to Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, Atlanta's pretty far, but
Yeah.
it's like LSU is like a MLB team.
Yeah.
The way it's covered
Yeah.
and all that stuff,
Yeah.
it's about as close as it
Yeah.
gets.
So when y'all came in freshman year, what was the moment that y'all were like, oh shit, this is LSU baseball? Like it was an oh shit moment. Like whether it was, I can't believe I'm here, or like I need to get my shit together. Like this isn't high school
For
ball.
me, is when they shaved our heads and we had to go to sorority row. And I was like, oh, all right, here we
Yeah.
go. This is it.
Sing I'm a little
Yeah,
teapot
a little teapot.
in front of 60, 70 sorority
Yeah,
girls.
sorority girls.
Just with sliders only on.
yeah, sliders only on with like chunks of hair missing.
Yeah.
it was pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they can do that
Yeah, I think
anymore.
I think they
Absolutely
would
different day and
not.
age.
They definitely cannot.
Remember when they made us jump? We ran a team run and they made us. I don't know if the position players were there. They made us They made us jump in the lakes of the LSU golf
yeah.
course right across.
Yep.
You were there?
yeah, that was us too. Yeah,
That was
Oh, yeah.
unbelievable.
Yep.
Wait,
we-
what
That
did
was
y'all
part of
have to
the.
do?
We were doing a team run on like the golf course right across from the box or whatever, and they made us jump in the pond, like in one of those ponds.
For what?
And it wasn't like a hot day either.
Yeah, it was just like
kinda
they were just
chilly.
like freshmen,
Yep.
shirts off, jump in the pond, and we were just like,
For what?
I don't know, yeah, we just did it. Like,
Yeah,
you know?
but that's the camaraderie stuff. People look
Yeah.
at it. I think a lot of people look at it negatively, and there's definitely things that get taken too far in different places. But like that's the stuff where it's like it creates a bond and
Yeah.
like yeah,
And 15 years later, we're still talking about it.
That's what I
Not
mean, we all
traumatized,
still
maybe a little bit, but I
pretty
mean,
much talk to everybody. Like
Yeah.
we're all still friends.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, I
And
know. Y'all's
I
group
literally
message.
still have the ball with all the girls' numbers on it from sorority. I swear to God, in the shop.
Why
I
does
have
that
it.
not surprise me at all? Not even a little bit.
It's my
Not
most
even a little
prized
bit.
possession, Abby. Okay.
Do you ever shoot him a text once in a while?
Yeah, I think I shot him a
what they're
text.
up
I
to?
think I shot every number of texts on that night because we had a team party. That was the whole point.
Oh
The whole point was freshmen go to the sororities, do the thing, sing the songs, and invite all the girls to the team party that we were having that night. And so
That
they would
plays.
leave their numbers on the ball, and so I shot my shot. Yeah, it was.
I'm
gave
sure
it my
you
best
did.
bolt.
I'm so
I didn't meet
sure.
any sorority girls that night. Must have been the shaved head.
It probably was. It probably
Sorority
was.
girls weren't my thing. Though.
We're not going there.
Why?
So, okay, so y'all's recruiting class. Give me some names. Who was in your recruiting class?
We were above average. We were the number one. We were Paul's Maneri's first recruiting class, and we were the number one recruiting class in the country. Micah, myself, DJ LeMahieu, Leon Landry, Austin Ross. But then we had some big time JUCO transfers like Matt Clark and Renee Escobar was a big name at the time. Who else was in that class?
Bradshaw, Verdugo,
Verdugo.
Nicholson, Alsup, like all those guys, because they were all like really highly ranked state
They were all-
players
yep,
too.
Exactly, yeah.
National.
Johnny
I think
Deshawn too from out of state.
Yeah,
He was a big
Johnny was a big
prospect.
one.
Yeah.
I think I might have been on the lowest one. I think nationally ranking it just said like NR,
Really?
like not ranked.
Shut up. you
No, I'm
don't.
serious.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm sure.
Well,
it had-
because like you and DJ were like the two main ones. Because you like they always list it, and then afterwards it was like, oh yeah, and there's also this catcher from Pflugerville, wherever that is.
I want you to tell this story. It probably had something to do with you not playing your senior year of high school. How crazy is this? He
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
get a chance to play his senior year of high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was
Moved
wild.
schools and
He got ruled, right? It was a
I
ruling?
mean, did it like based off the actual rules, like it was legal, but the coach that I played for the year before that said he was going to sign off on it, and then when it was time to actually do it, I think some other coaches in the district got to him because then he ended up not doing it, and I'm whatever.
Bush.
But that's another good story about Maneri. He called me right after he found out and was like, he's like, hey, I'm going to keep your scholarship, all that stuff. Most places would have been like, hey, I don't know, cut him, whatever. He's like, hey, I'm keeping it. Just make sure you're ready to go when you get here. And I'm like, will do.
I'm glad he did.
Yeah, right.
I'm glad he did.
I know.
Yeah. How crazy is that though?
That's wild.
And he had a potential to get drafted and everything too.
Robbed you of
but
your
couldn't
senior year.
play in front of scouts. Nothing. Kind of shitty.
So spent most of the year just eating pizza and gaining weight.
That's why you came in with the sleeves.
I was jacked.
Yeah, you were jacked.
I thought I was.
And then we went to Cody Wren's dad's house, remember, in Walker, or his family house.
And the family size or party size popcorn buckets. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
So I stayed with him for a few days because I had played on one of their teams the week before we reported to campus, and I stayed there, and he made me this huge popcorn bucket full of sausage, hot dogs, bacon, and macaroni and cheese.
Oh, hell no.
It had to be 6 boxes of Kraft mac and cheese. I get it, and I was like, oh, okay. So I was assuming I pulled some out into a bowl and gave it gave the bowl to Cody.
Everybody. Yeah.
But then he walks in with another one the same size and gives it to Cody, and I'm like, Jesus.
If you knew Cody Wren and their family, they were amazing people. They were awesome. And they're our strength coach used to ride Cody a lot about his weight and stuff like that. So it was just a funny inside joke for us. Cody's a great dude.
Cook.
Yeah, wound up playing professional baseball and everything. Yeah.
His dad was an unbelievable cook.
His dad was unbelievable cook. And that was my first taste of. Remember how I tell you the story all the time? I remember telling Micah at one point. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember when all the fans were outside and stuff. I was like, dude, why do they keep telling me that they want me to go to their house and they want to cook for me and stuff? What do they want from us? And Micah's like, what do you mean? They're just being nice. They just want to cook for you. And then he took me over to Cody's house and I got it. I was like, oh, okay. People just literally just want to cook for you. This is what the South is like.
Yep.
In New Jersey, people cook for you. They're like, hey, make sure you got me next week, right? Next Friday, it's at your house. You're cooking, right?
Was it our freshman year when Coach Maneri told a story about, was it Villanova? No, not Villanova.
That was our sophomore year.
Was it Villanova sophomore year where he's like, up in the north, guys just walk down the street and you look at them weird and they'll just come punch you right in the face, right, Anthony? And he was in the back and he's like, no, not at all.
And he goes, well, not where you're from,
He's trying to get everybody oh man, you gotta take them serious. They're gonna beat us. Exactly. They're gonna come punch us.
Yeah, he was we were playing Villanova opening weekend our sophomore year, and he's like, these guys are good. I'm telling you, they're tough-nosed kids. They're from the north. They've been inside. They're like wild animals. When you get them outside, they're gonna be. And we're all looking around Coach, chill out, bro. And he's like, no, I'm serious. And then he comes to me, right, Anthony? You walk down the street and someone just
Did you straight up say
yeah,
no?
I looked at him and I was like, no. Everybody on the team started laughing, and he's like,
no?
well, not where you're from.
You killed his whole vibe.
Yeah, his whole vibe. But we were just like, Coach, we get what you're trying to do. We're going to take him serious, right?
Yeah, we got it.
We freaking crushed him, yeah. Beat him 30-1 in the series. It was fine.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, I was tipped off while you went to the bathroom.
Uh-oh.
So we know you love the movie Wedding Crashers. You know where this is going?
Yeah.
I was told to ask you about your thoughts the first time he saw Wedding Crashers.
He had never seen Wedding Crashers, first and foremost. So I had to put him on Wedding Crashers.
Owen Wilson,
and then the scene where Vince Vaughn makes the bicycle with the balloons. I thought something was wrong with Micah. Again, we were freshly maybe knew this kid for a week. I don't know. I'm like, he is on the ground laughing for 3 or 4 minutes, where I'm like, dude, are you okay? Is everything okay, man? The movie's continued. It's a whole nother scene. I'm like, you shouldn't be laughing that hard.
It's not that funny.
Yeah, but it was
take your bicycle.
Yeah, take your bicycle. Get away from me.
I'm tearing up.
You hyena.
I'm sorry.
And then you did the same thing when we watched Step Brothers the next year when
things make me laugh,
it's over.
It takes a little bit. It's like an onion, as it peels. But it's when I really laugh, it's tough to control.
Yeah.
Was that in the movie theater?
Yeah.
And I was on the ground, I think.
Yeah. It was in the ground. We were watching
Oh,
Step
this
Brothers in
wasn't
the
at
movie.
home. This was
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think the Wedding Crashers was at home, right?
Wedding Crashers at the apartment.
Yeah, but Step Brothers was in the theater.
Yeah.
And by the way,
I saw Step Brothers in theaters.
by the way,
Do you know when it was? No, go ahead.
no, I was just saying we had to go get Wedding Crashers from Blockbuster.
Yes.
You know the Chipotle on
Yeah.
campus, guys?
Oh my
That
god.
It was a
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
Yep.
I used
It was
to
a
love
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
It was a Blockbuster.
I used to love Blockbuster.
Blockbuster was great. So we went and got the DVD and put it in the Xbox, the original Xbox.
Oh yeah.
And put it in there. It was great.
The
No.
original Xbox.
The original Xbox.
You had to clarify.
Yeah. What was
Holy shit.
Gaddy's.
Oh.
The Nukes is it still Nukes?
Yeah, Nukes, I think.
Nukes
yeah.
was a
No,
Gaddy's
Nukes
like
got shut
buffet.
down,
Micah ate there, I think, every day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why it's no longer a Gaddy's.
Micah
The owner was
maximized
like,
all you can eat
the owner was
buffet.
like, I'm pretty sure the math works on this buffet thing. How's this not working?
I would go to Subway every day. Remember, I would get my stupid ass Subway sandwich. Thought I was eating healthy, just eating rubber chicken that was not even real chicken.
Wait, where did y'all live?
yoga pant bread.
Yeah,
Wasn't that what it was? It
Yes,
was made out of yoga
yeah,
pant material.
Yeah,
Where did y'all live?
West Campus
West
Apartments.
Campus Apartments, right around the
Yeah.
corner there. Yeah.
Yeah, West Campus Apartments. Yeah, that was good.
And
Well,
y'all chose to live together every year?
I love going to Blockbusters.
So the
When did you
freshman
go to
year, we didn't get to
Blockbuster?
pick.
Right.
You did
And
not.
then, so Anthony, DJ, and I moved into a place off of Brightside
Okay.
sophomore year.
Brightside Commons.
And then,
Does that sound right?
yeah, and then and Chris Matulis joined us.
Yeah.
That would
And
have
then
been junior
Austin
year.
Ross, yeah.
Austin Ross when DJ left.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Chris came in and took over for DJ, but yeah. Yep.
What was y'all's favorite year living together?
I mean, they're all fun in their own ways, but like freshman year is tough to beat because you're
Yeah.
like on campus, everything's close. So like we basically did, and you're usually taking like the same classes. So then sophomore, junior years when it kind of splits up if you're doing something different. Plus, I think technically on paper, DJ's still a sophomore.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably. I think
He
so.
might be like a first year sophomore.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, barely.
So,
went
like-
to, yeah.
Yeah.
He did all the minimum. I think he did 9 hours maybe.
Yeah. It was like
Whatever it
what are the
was, 10.
least amount of classes
Yeah.
I need to pass to be able to like still get at bats?
Yeah. Yeah. Make sure I'm on
But
the
he like
field. Yeah.
from day one, and like that was think back then. It's you get a guy like that on campus, like yeah,
Yeah, whatever you need.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
It seems like it's working out. 35
yeah,
years
he's
old.
doing-
still
he's
for
doing
the
great. Yeah.
Yankees. Yeah, it's fine.
He's doing all right.
Made over 100 M's.
Did y'all have study hall and all?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Cox Building,
Yeah.
still the Cox Building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Y'all are really the chat's going crazy on the age.
I know.
Y'all really
VCR
outed
days.
yourself.
All right, it was DVD. Okay.
The VCR
We made the
days.
transition to DVD during our time.
So
Yeah.
were movies in black and white too?
Black and
Holy
white.
hell. They're
Well,
coming
I
at y'all.
remember
Well, we had
for Wedding
color.
Crash. Well, no, Wedding Crashers was a DVD, but like watching sports, you have to move the bunny ears. No,
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
It wasn't. All right,
Nah.
you streamers.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
relax over here.
The chat's got y'all. The chat's
Yeah.
got y'all. Okay, a little bit more serious. If you could go back to any moment in your LSU career, like to relive it again, what would it be?
Oh wow.
I want your answer too.
I'll think about this. What, the eye roll?
The eye roll was
I
something.
know.
You
that
can
was
go
me,
ahead.
yeah.
is that like how specific do we have to get?
That's
Honestly,
up to
like
you.
I think
That's
what was it? Was it 2009 or was it 2008 when we had all those rain delays? You remember that? I think it was 2009. Or
Trying to
no?
think.
It was 2009, I think.
Was it?
I remember how like we'd have the long rain delays and like we're just in there like everybody's just telling stories.
Are you talking about
and, like,
Omaha?
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. That
Oh,
was
sorry,
2009.
I didn't
yeah.
mention that.
Yeah.
So it was like the team camaraderie was already great, and it's like you just cherish like those times. It's like it's not even the games; it's like the times where you're in like the locker room or like everybody turning the lights off and Buzzy doing the Nature Boy and all that
Yeah.
stuff through the.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that stuff was. I mean, honestly, I'd just go relive the whole thing.
Yeah.
There's not like one specific
Yeah.
point. Obviously, winning the national championship's
Yeah.
great, but honestly, it's like all the other times you have with all the guys everywhere else.
Yeah.
So.
I think my freshman year during that 23-game win streak, he was way more involved as the starting catcher, but it was kind of fun for me when I wasn't involved too, because like it was just like I was part of the team. Like there wasn't a lot of pressure. I was just like learning a lot, you know.
Yeah.
But I think like playing Lollipop after every game, right in the locker room, like it was just like that was our team
Yeah.
song. Like it was
Yeah.
brand new and
Brand
Oh,
yeah, that song too, by Lil Wayne. But all the Lil Wayne songs, I think for me is what I remember too. Just coming down to Louisiana and just kind of getting accustomed to the culture and like understanding what makes Louisiana and LSU. So I think my freshman year, a lot of those memories stick in my head of that winning streak, all the good vibes that were happening after those games and everything, and then I was fortunate enough to get on the field a little bit and pretty much mop up duties and like what I told you after we clinched against Auburn, you know, like things like that. So low leverage situations, but just like being a part of that team and stuff was really cool, kind of setting us up for that 2009 team. And then like Micah said, 2009, there's so many memories just of like when you have a national championship team, like everything just clicks. Like I think I tell people this so many times too. Every time or any time we were down in a game, it was like I felt like we would just look at the lineup and be like, who's coming up in the 8th or the 9th? Who's going to be the hero? You know? And that kind of mindset was so fun.
It was weird because it was almost like you knew it was going to happen. Yeah. It's just like, how's it going to happen?
Yeah, how and who? Yeah, who's going to
be
the hero
like,
today?
Oh, man, I wish we could come back here.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, no, here,
it was like,
how's this going to happen?
Yeah, we're down 2 runs going into the 8th. It's like, all right, looks like so-and-so will probably get up in the bottom of the 8th. So-and-so will get up in the 9th if we get there. But, yeah.
I'll say, speaking of Lil Wayne and Chad Jones, how about the time where he showed up 45 minutes before the game started because he was at Lil Wayne's birthday party?
literally at Lil Wayne's birthday party.
Wait,
and then struck out and then struck out the side or something.
What?
You know?
We had to call him to get to the
So I'm in traffic.
Wait, why was Chad Jones at Lil Wayne's
It's like
birthday
you live
party?
on campus.
Yeah. What do you mean you're in traffic? Yeah, he was friends with Lil Wayne. I mean, he knew. I mean, he's from New Orleans.
There's a picture on Facebook at the time was like the hot thing.
Yeah, like
So he was at Lil Wayne's birthday party, showed up 45 minutes before the game, and then struck out this.
And then he got in the game later that day. Yeah.
Probably struck everybody out.
Yeah, struck everybody out.
Did y'all know he was at that birthday party?
Yeah, that's why we had to call him. We had to be like, "Come on, Chad, get here." But like with Chad, it was so like,
"Come on, Chad."
Anything went with Chad. He was the funniest dude. He was the best teammate. So it was never like, "Oh, what a piece of shit." He's like hurting the team. Like nobody was ever mad at him because he came in. He was such good energy. He was such a unique character, right? Like, it's pretty rare that a baseball player that is an NFL he was. If he didn't get in that accident, he was going to be an NFL player for 15 years probably. The way he was built,
pitched in the big league.
Yeah, could have pitched in the big league. Just a
That's
different type of
wild.
athlete, right? So the way he came in, the way he was just down to earth, he was cool. He was friends with everybody. Didn't matter where they were
best
from.
Teammate
best
ever.
teammate. So it was like it was almost like, damn, Chad's not here. Like, come on, bro. Like, get here because we need you. Like, we want you here, not because like you're late. Like, you're hurting the team. Like, it wasn't anything like that. So it was just like good vibes. It was like nobody really cared about him doing that stuff. It was like that's Chad being.
It also felt nice being in the dugout with a guy that was 6'4", 240 that ran like a 4.40. 40.
Exactly.
And like nobody wanted
just
to
being around him and just being like watching him do stuff, and you're like,
wait, humans can do that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just a freaking
I ever tell you this
specimen.
story? One time he just came up to me at Arkansas like one day. We were I just looked at him like he just comes up to me and puts his arm around me. He's like, I forget what he called me. He called me like tomato or something like that, like as a nick. I gotta ask him what he called me, but it was like he didn't know how to say my last name. Like for some reason it was like some version of tomato. I don't even literally. And so he says that name and he's like, let me ask you a question, man. I'm like, what you got for me, Chad? He goes, I don't get it, man. You guys practice all the time, like pitching and throwing strikes. Like, how do y'all walk people?
No, but like,
I literally looked at him and I was like, Chad, not all of us are like you, bro.
Right.
Like, no one is like you, actually. Yeah,
I know from a football standpoint, they'd have like their version of like punishment running.
Yeah.
The pencil rolls and stuff they'd have him do. They said they would do it the whole time, and eventually like the coach would just get tired of like walking with him because he like would never like they usually want to like throw up or do something. And he would just keep going and like never stop. So like there's nothing he couldn't do. It was unreal.
Yeah, he was just he was superhuman. He he was different. Yeah. I mean, the dude would hit him and Leon would have home run derbies in batting practice. Coach would be like, all right, try to hit it to like left field, opposite field. They're yanking homers.
The best part was like he's hitting balls further than pretty much everybody else. With an aluminum bat when everybody else was using composite, the Easton Stealth. He was still using the metal one, and it was cracked.
Yeah.
Like he found out later it was cracked.
It was just freak stuff that you're just like,
yeah.
And then I told you that like the first time they threw the bullpen, we were all just like, come on, dude, fuck you. Like nobody should do that. Like Lewis and I are looking at each other like we're pretty good at this pitching thing, and like he's way better than us. Like just and hadn't touched a baseball in like 7 years.
Gruy asked him, he's like, hey, like, what pitches do you have? And he's like, yeah, I got all of them.
Yeah, I got them.
He's like, what do you want? I'm like, this isn't a video game, but it was for him.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was like,
watch this, I got a curveball, and we're all laughing. We're like, what is that? It was nasty. Everything was good. Yeah, it was crazy.
The Chad Jones stories are crazy.
Yeah.
No, he's
you want to take care of the
Whoa,
Chad?
Gavin Guidry hit a double to the left field corner a few minutes ago.
There we go. I know
about time he starts hitting. Let's go.
I know at the beginning of the year he was thinking about trying to trying to hit.
He should. He
So
came in as the #1 shortstop
Shortstop.
in the state or whatever.
I know.
Yeah.
So hopefully he gets another chance next year. Maybe maybe pretty good.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That'll be cool.
Do y'all think we see Guidry at short? Not this season, but like, is that?
I'm pretty sure
like,
Braswell secured that, even
Yeah,
though he leads
I think-
the league.
I think-
he leads the SEC in errors, but his batting average, he's batting what, 350?
I think he's leading the team in batting average.
Yeah,
320
second in
or,
the
The
SEC,
SEC
I
or
believe.
something. Yeah.
I guess that evens out.
Yeah, that plays.
We do have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Somebody said, ask Micah his thoughts on Coach Jay Johnson.
Coach Jay Johnson. Had a little bit of created a little bit of a relationship with him with some of the stuff that we do on a daily basis, and
You got to explain what you do.
so
Oh yeah, how have we not
Yeah,
talked
I
about
don't
that?
so basically run kind of like day-to-day operations of what would be like Marucci's research and development center. So we do a lot of bat fitting, assessment type stuff for professional players. We do college, high school, youth, not as much as we do professionals. But so, for example, they're going to start sending guys in for like wood bat fittings to make sure that like they get the right wood bats for the summer. So we have to kind of give them like a 3-4 week lead time to get the bats made. So they'll start sending guys in, but they bring recruits by. They get to see the facility, and they get access to the facility for being at LSU and stuff like that. So met with Jay when he first got here. The one thing that I was super impressed with how detailed he is and how knowledgeable he is on the offensive side of things, and just like the plan he had for every player and for the team. It's like this 7-8 step process to being like a complete hitter. And the thing he told me is like some guys may never even get to that point, but his goal is to get everybody to that point. And I'm like, wait, I kind of want to try to hit again. I want to go through this process. Like, very detail oriented. Like, I don't think there's a person that's going to work harder than that guy. That whole staff, honestly, feel bad for their wives. Probably don't see them much,
right?
especially this time of year.
Yeah.
I know how that was a few years ago, but yeah, no, Jay's great, and I think he's going to be great for us for the years to come.
And Micah's completely downplaying what he does. Is it still called Baseball Performance Lab, BPL,
Yeah.
right?
So we call it BPL just because
Yeah.
we take baseball out of it because
Got
we
it.
do some
All
other
kinds of-
sports
yeah,
and other
exactly,
stuff.
yeah. But we went in there this morning. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah, like what you do is really cool, really innovative, and you're extremely knowledgeable of what you do. And he works with some of the, I'm sure he can't even get into some of the stuff, people that he works with, but works with some of the top athletes in the world and it's pretty secretive and low-key how some of the best players in the world come to Baton Rouge, Louisiana to work with you and the lab and stuff like that. So I just want to give you a little love on that because I know you would never say that, but it's absolutely incredible what you do. So it was really cool to see it there today. I hadn't even seen those changes, in the last, 6-8 months probably.
I feel like every other year we change something up.
It's unbelievable. So
now we've got pretty much an entire warehouse building.
That was awesome.
It was beautiful, yeah.
I would say it's probably the nicest hitting facility probably on Earth.
I've ever seen for sure. Yeah.
When it comes to like the actual like how nice it is, and then the amount of the tech that we have in there, there's nowhere on Earth that's not a Major League Baseball team's facility that's like that. And a lot of that's Marucci and Kurt, obviously, and putting the time, the funds, the energy into building all that too.
Yeah. Well, you run all that shit, so that's what I mean. They wouldn't do it without you and your brain and the way that you work. So this dude is. I always say this about Micah. I'm like. That's why we went in there this morning because he had something that he wanted to run by me or whatever, and I'm like, I'm in. I don't even think twice about it because
you don't need to tell me.
This man has been ahead of his time since the day that I met him, and literally to the point that when him and I got drafted, I think he was a third rounder, right? Something like that. So Micah was a third rounder. We got an apartment together after we got drafted after our junior years, and I'm just like, I got a new PlayStation. I'm streaming Netflix. Netflix is brand new, and I'm watching Lost, and I'm all locked in. He's like, "Hey man, do you think I could use the TV to watch Mad Money for just an hour from 5 to 6?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is Mad Money?" Now for the last 5 years, 6 years, that's all I watch only CNBC. So again, 10 years ahead of his time. But I wish I was doing what he was doing then, right? So that's what I'm saying.
That's probably pretty normal, right? Like a 21-year-old kid just out of college playing professional baseball, watching CNBC and MSNBC, and
I know normal. It's no, not normal, but that's why you are who you are. So I just want to show you some love because what you're doing now is considered innovative, but in 10 years it's probably going to be the way that everybody does everything, and it's something like that. Just the same way I think there's a lot of 20-year-olds nowadays that have Robinhood and invest and do all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it is. I just always think you're ahead of your time and all the things that you do. So
Appreciate that.
I think BPL is really cool, and the performance lab and everything that you guys do is really cool.
I actually do kind of want to ask you about that. Him saying you're ahead of your time, but like, how has the technology like innovated the space and the game? Like, if you guys back then had what you had now, how would that have made it different? I know. It would have made
Verdugo was
a huge
saying he thinks he would be able to throw close to 100, like mid to upper 90s, based on his like.
Yeah,
his metrics and
I
things.
think so. Technology is amazing in baseball right now. It's also, I think, borderline dangerous in the wrong hands.
Oh,
True.
So I think what you like, because we work with a lot of MLB teams throughout the year, and what we see is the teams that are constantly winning and how they approach and handle the data versus the teams that are like still kind of middle of the pack figuring it out, even the teams at the bottom end. But I think the most important part about it is it can tell you how to get the most out of somebody. So like that's why I think all these guys are throwing so hard now, because now there's, especially from the pitching side, like now we can figure out how to get literally every mile an hour out of every pitcher.
Yeah.
And then with all the data that's out there, and all the pitchers know that every pitch is being recorded, they're putting close to max effort on every single pitch. And I think hitting, and hopefully we're slowly changing this. Hitting, I think, is still very much behind where pitching is. And it's a little harder because you're in the reactionary position where the pitcher gets to dictate when he pitches, outside of obviously the pitch clock, but where the hitter doesn't know what's coming. They don't know what to expect, so it's a little more reactionary. It's a little tougher. But yeah, I think technology is great for baseball, and I'm still unsure if I had what we have now, if I would have been better or much worse, because I would have been like
overthinking everything.
And he's a big thinker. Yeah.
Huge.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I was
so
like that too. Yeah.
I kind of want to know like what that would have been like.
Yeah.
To have all that information at hand.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
I think I didn't even.
Kind of points out more things for you to think about, right?
Yeah.
And remember, and
Well,
cues and all that kind of stuff.
And the data that's out there now, and it's starting to get to the college game. It's like, that's why for me, I still think there's a lot of upside to this LSU team, because like the peripheral stats, the stuff that's not in like the box score, even on their stat page, like that's just like the basic stats. The stuff that takes away a lot of the luck, a lot of the stuff that you don't see on TV is like they're actually like a really good team.
Yeah.
So if they can just get to the postseason, I'm pretty interested.
I love hearing that. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Do we think they get to the postseason? Honest.
I mean, it's going to be tough.
Uphill battle for
However,
sure.
I think if they can get to, I mean, honestly, like the best part about Hoover, is like that's LSU's second home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can always win that. I think if they can get to like 12, 13 wins, put in a good, strong showing in Hoover, it's gonna be real. Like basically, you gotta make the NCAA tell you no.
Yeah.
The NCAA loves LSU.
Yeah.
A lot of money there.
It's a business.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
At
it's
the
a
end of the
business.
day, it's a
So-
business. Yeah.
Especially the brand that they're putting out right now with all their athletes and everything.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. So I think if we can get, you have to get at least one this weekend. It's the best team in the country.
Yeah.
If you can get two, that's unbelievable, especially going into the last two weekends. But yeah, I'm hopeful.
Let me ask you this real quick before we let you get out of here, because we've been here for about an hour-ish, right?
Oh
Have we?
shit, we could have kept going.
I know. No,
This was fun.
I just feel bad. He's got kids
I know,
at home.
I
and he's
know,
got
I
work.
know.
They're already
It's in the
asleep.
middle of
Oh,
the
they're already
week.
asleep?
We got them
All right.
regimented on
You
bedtimes.
still got some scotch left, so that's why I was like, I'm milking it a little bit.
Little
Yeah.
bit.
When the sun's going down, the kids are going down.
So we talk about the team, like kind of like we were, our junior year was kind of this year's team, right? Like started off hot, number 1 in the country, number 2, top 5, whatever. Then we went into a slump a little bit, but then we made it to Hoover.
Yep.
And won the tournament.
Yep.
And then had to go to UCLA. So what was it like? You got to face Trevor Bauer, right?
Yes.
What was that like? Yeah.
That was my introduction to what spin rate is. So, like, we didn't know what spin rate was. You just had these pitchers that you felt like you would be completely on time. You felt like you were about to crush it. and then it would pop straight up in the air, and you're
Yeah.
like, what the heck? Like,
And
what just
Bauer
happened?
was ahead of his time. With
Bauer
pitching,
was way
right?
ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Like, remember he was like doing all that stuff in the
Cameras?
He was warming up, throwing from like foul pole to foul pole right next to you. And he's like, "Hey man, good luck tonight."
Yeah,
and we're like, "Wait, what?"
I tell her that.
You told that
Yeah.
story.
I told that story to
Yep.
Maneri or something, and he was like, "Really?" You know, like,
But
and then McGrew was like, "What did that guy say to you?" And I was like, "Oh, he just said good luck." And I was like, "He was like, that's who's pitching today." I was like, "No, it wasn't." I was like, "He was long tossing."
Yeah,
He
he's
was
like long
yeah,
tossing.
like he was getting some work in today.
Yeah.
He's like, "No, he's." I was like, "He's the same guy that was wearing the jacket and doing all the stuff before the game. He must have pitched yesterday, like, or 2 days ago." Like, he's
Yeah.
like, "That's Trevor Bauer who's pitching against
Yeah.
you tonight." And I was like,
Oh shit.
"Oh shit."
Not to mention like, oh, their other guy was Garrett Cole.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was like,
yeah,
dude, it's
those are
so
their
crazy.
two
Two Cy Young winners.
Rasmussen was their Sunday
Oh, yeah,
guy.
exactly.
They had
Rasmussen.
three
Oh,
big leaguers on their
I
weekend.
forgot about that. Rasmussen has been a big leaguer.
I don't know
for-
how they didn't win it that year.
I know.
I
They went to the
That's
championship.
Yeah.
South Carolina was just on that like hot run, right?
They
or
went
whatever.
back-to-back,
Yeah, they
right?
went
Yeah.
back to back. Yeah.
But no, so that was my first like, because I remember reading some article at the draft talking about him and like the spin rate, and I'm like, oh. And then when I got into pro ball, then those teams started talking about like
Yep.
spin rate and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, now it makes sense. Like,
I remember
What's
reading
going
an article about Bauer, how him and his dad were setting up cameras and watching the balls come out of his hand like before like tunneling was a thing. Like Bauer really did have an effect on changing the
I think
game.
he's honestly like the pioneer of it.
Yeah,
in
that's what I
terms
think
of
too,
like
yeah.
getting it to baseball and where it is today.
Yeah.
Regardless of all the other stuff that's
Right,
going on with
right,
him,
right.
but like he got Driveline to where it is.
Yeah.
Like Driveline was Driveline, but like they needed that guy to bring it in, and if it wasn't for him, like who knows where it would be right now?
Exactly,
Like because I mean, there's plenty of people researching and like the data
Right.
people and stuff going on years before it ever came to light. But like he's a big part of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all both just mentioned articles, draft articles. Did you ever I know you have. We've talked about this, but like reading an article about yourself before the draft, like what was that like?
Why'd you call me out on that?
I just know you've read articles about yourself before the draft, and some were good, some were all right. F me.
Well, I mean, I
Shut
read.
down my question.
I definitely read them.
No, yeah, no, me too.
Yeah,
read
like,
a-
do you read them or do you avoid them?
I read every like
Yeah.
I read them on every
I
single
remember
person.
sitting in study halls on like Thursdays or Mondays after the weekend series, exactly where I was, and like reading the same articles and the recaps and everything. Yeah, about everything.
Yeah, that was
Baseball
another.
America
Yeah,
and
that was
all the
another another good Maneri intervention, because he knew how I was, and he was like, "Hey, stop reading stuff. Stop trying to be somebody you're not.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna be okay." Yes,
Yeah,
coach.
it's kind of hard not to, and especially back in those days. Like today, you could probably just put your phone. I mean, maybe it's probably harder today, but
Yeah.
I don't know. There wasn't a lot to like. You know where to go to find the 2 or 3
Yeah.
articles
Right.
that you
Yeah.
could find the information and things like that.
I would say back then it was more of like, back then it was more of talking to your agent
Right,
or
yeah.
advisor or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and it's basically like, hey, like what are people saying?
Yeah.
And usually they're gonna gas you up. They're
Yeah,
not gonna
exactly. Yeah.
say anything bad, but.
And y'all didn't have, this is not like a shot at y'all, but y'all didn't have social media like we do now. I'm not trying to take a shot. I'm just saying that, like, imagine this team this year. They're struggling, right? You're coming off a national championship win. There's a
Oh.
lot of questions.
I mean, we had Facebook, and that was it, I think.
Yeah.
So we had Facebook, so it was like, I think people would like follow you, but nobody would ever like comment and be like,
Right.
"Hey, sweet, throw down to
Yeah,
second.
You suck,
You're
Gibbs, like,
awful."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that would never
Yeah,
happen.
Never.
They usually just hold that to your face.
Yeah, we would just hear it at the games. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot different world back then.
Yes.
Yeah, they would wait outside the bus for us and tell us that. Yeah. They would
That's
just ask
brutal.
us,
That might
Michael,
be
why do you
worse.
suck so bad?
Yeah.
You're like, fuck you.
That might be a little worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet strikeout to end the game. Here's your po' boy.
Renato, when are you going to figure it out? You sucked this year. You were good last year.
Yikes. We need to wrap this up. Okay, I know you have some kiddos at home, so we'll wrap it up. Do they know that like you won a national championship? Have you told
Oh,
them?
they're still too young to
How old
to
are
know
they?
any of that stuff. We got one that turns 3,
Oh,
a girl
yeah.
that turns 3 in June, and then a little boy that's 1 1/4.
1 1/4.
1 1/4.
Stud.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah,
awesome.
he's gonna be a fun one. He's gonna be tough
Is he doing
to deal with.
is he doing forearm curls already
Uh,
and stuff?
He's like picking, like he'll like pick up like a casserole dish that's like pure what is that, ceramic or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even know that.
Obviously,
I'm not good at cooking. But he'll just like hold it with one arm and like walk around, like one hand. I'm like,
farmer's walks.
yeah, pretty much.
Just a brute.
Yeah, no, yeah.
A
He
year and
just
a half.
sprints back and forth and like slams into things. Yeah. Just like me.
He's just doing squats
Yeah.
already, calf raises.
It's gonna be-
Yeah.
Micah was the strongest squatter, leg press squat person I've ever. Like it was, I was emasculated when I would be around. I'd be like, Micah, go work out down there. I don't want to be around you. I don't even want to watch the bars that what you're doing. Yeah.
I think Maneri was the same way. He like made me go do leg press instead.
Who?
That freshman year when we did like maxed out.
Oh yeah.
On squat, he was like,
Yeah.
"That's enough."
Yeah.
He's like, "We don't need to do anymore."
Yeah. It was ridiculous how much
He's
he
like,
could
"What-"
lift. Yeah.
Yeah, he's basically just like, "Why do you need that much weight?" And like thinking back on it, it's like you really don't need
Yeah, you don't.
that
but,
much.
yeah.
But whatever.
But it was pretty impressive. So.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, the chat really enjoyed having you on the show. We really enjoyed having you on the show.
This was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly think we could have kept going, but again, it is a
I didn't even know it was
Tuesday.
an hour. Yeah, I looked down and it said 54 minutes. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, it's been an hour.
Yeah.
So we'll let you get back. We know
Appreciate
everybody's got work this week. Before we go, do want to shout out St. Rock Vodka. Remember, this is a great way to support the LSU athletes. Proceeds from every bottle go directly to Bayou Traditions, the official NIL collective of LSU. So find St. Rock. It's great vodka. If you don't like vodka, it's good decor at least. So give back to the athletes that you love to watch on the field.